This special called meeting of the Moore County Board of Education is in session. I'm looking around, I'm determining that there is a quorum. Quorum is more than half of our membership. I do note that Mr. Hensley is not here today. I think I should say to the board that I did receive an email from Mr. Hensley. Said this was with regard to an email that I had sent the board. This to let you know the special called meeting is a meeting which is called on 48 hours notice. I sent out a note to all the members of the board, giving them two possible dates: Tuesday, July 17th at 1:30 and Wednesday, July 18th at 10 a.m. I got responses from most members of the board. This was determined that this would be the meeting date on July 19th, which was several days thereafter. I got a message from Mr. Hensley.
No, I think it was the 17th.
No, actually, this is the 19th.
Today's the 19th.
Excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. I
The
apologize.
17th.
Yes, I do apologize, on the 17th. I just saw this, as I do not routinely check my MCS email. There was a personal reason for him not being there, having nothing to do with the subject of it, but having to do with an appointment he had made. But this is an emergency meeting, and so at least unless there is going to be further motions to recess, we'll continue with the meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll have a pledge of allegiance by Philip.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us have a moment of silence, prayer and reflection. Thank you very much. If needed, is there a motion to move into closed session pursuant to item 2 on the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a brief closed session. I know you've all come here, and I apologize for having to wait. This is actually not going to be, I think, one of our sessions where we spend a long time in session, but I think it's appropriate for us to consult with our attorney with regard to various legal matters. So I beg your indulgence, and we are going to move to closed session at this point in time. is there a motion to come out of closed session?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Benway. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the board, we're here because of a matter of civility. And I think I'm very, very proud of this board, that this board recognizes the need for civility and the need to get along with each other and to always remember that our number one priority are our students, and that is quite important. Our schools, important. We're going to have to make sure that we are able to get along and take care of the business of Moore County schools without recriminations, and also with an eye toward doing the things that we want to do in our strategic plan. And our strategic plan, which is the most important thing, is to make sure that we raise our grade level performance, that we make sure that we show respect for our teachers, our staff. And by the way, I want to make sure that everyone knows that although Dr. Locklear is not present, our administration is being represented here by Ms. Simon, who is Assistant Superintendent. She has decided to sit in the back a little bit, which is okay. There's a lot of humility there. But we want to make sure that everyone knows that our administration is present, because we need to show also respect for our administration. We have a policy, and that policy is called 1419. And that policy basically says that we have to conduct affairs of the board in an open and public manner, and that we also have to model.
Your mic.
Okay.
It's on.
Oh, it's on? Okay. I'll try and, okay. That we also have to model civility and integrity, because after all, we are the models for our students. And sometimes democracy can be a little messy. It really can be. And that's one of our gifts that we have in the United States. We have the gift of free speech. And that is a wonderful thing. But we also have to recognize what the public, I believe that the public really wants to see as well. And that is that there is so much turmoil going on all around us. I'm not going to get into what issues there's turmoil on, but we see it every day on the news and the like. And I think there is a growing desire of the public to make sure that when we conduct our business, we conduct it with the utmost respect for each other. And that is the important thing. And then once we decide our issues, that those issues are decided fairly and with good reasoning and by majority votes. So with that, I'm going to say that I appreciate the board coming together today. Are there any motions?
I'd like to make a motion to speak.
You don't have to make a motion to speak. You can go
Okay.
ahead and speak.
So I'm going to make a motion to remove David Hensley from vice chair. And I would like to express why. And first of all, let me apologize for the inconvenience, and everybody's time is valuable, but please bear with me. He has continuously and flagrantly attacked individuals, constituents, teachers, and members of this board. He has shown that he has failed to recognize that his words do have impact His words are harsh, unwarranted, and disruptive. His vile conduct does not reflect good leadership. David is a very intelligent man and has great ideas. But how can we expand on those ideas when the vice chair continues unwanted banter and unilateral thinking, while at the same time crucifying members of this board and the public? This does not reflect leadership. And with that being said, I do make a motion to remove David Hensley as vice chair.
Okay, that will be recognized by the, is there a second, by the way?
Second.
There is a second. That will be recognized by the chair as a motion to rescind. Under Robert's Rules of Order, a motion to rescind is to, in effect, rescind the election of the vice chair. Is there discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
that will require a 2/3 vote of the members present or a majority of the entire board membership, which in either case would be 4 out of 7 or 4 out of the 6 present.
Okay, thank you, counsel. Okay, was there any further discussion? I didn't see any. Oh, there is. Okay, yes.
I'd like to make a statement, if I may. This Board of Education is charged by the citizens of Moore County to carry out its duties as outlined in law and in our oaths of office. It also bears the burden of the implied task of breaking the decades-long plunge in academic performance and restoration of good order in our schools, realities that plague virtually every county and district in North Carolina. We started out last December with those responsibilities foremost in mind. We've made strides in the right direction, with more in the making. In the last few weeks, however, we've been diverted from our mission by statements made by Mr. Hensley, vice chair of this board, creating entirely avoidable distractions. We now have chaos in public meetings and the toxic pursuit of antagonism and character assassination of the elected chair of this board, as well as the gratuitous and unfounded attacks on the superintendent, show no signs of remorse on the part of Mr. Hensley, nor any prospects of return to rational deliberation and decision-making. This board cannot and will not operate under those conditions. These are enough to inform my recommendation to remove Mr. Hensley from his leadership position as vice chairman, as well as his participation in various committees. However, a singular point of no return was reached earlier on. Mr. Hensley's statement in June on WEEB radio that Mr. Robert Levy, a practicing Jew, a highly competent lawyer, and proven public servant, is, quote, a Nazi, unquote. That statement is freighted with profound malice and attempt at character assassination that cannot be ignored, nor will it be tolerated by this member of the Board of Education, nor by the citizens of Moore County. Men and women of goodwill can accomplish anything. Goodwill must be restored today. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion?
I call the question.
Okay, the question is called. Now, first, since the question is called,
That requires a second and a 2/3 vote.
okay, is there a second to call the question?
Second.
There is a second to calling the question. So what we're going to vote on first, so that everybody knows, is whether we will vote, which is calling the question. Okay, all those in favor of calling the question, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we'll move immediately to a vote. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand.
Could you repeat the motion, please, just so for everybody? The motion was to remove David Hensley from his vice chair seat.
That is the motion.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Anybody not understand the motion? Okay. All those in favor, please raise your hand. That is unanimous among the people here, 6-0. So there is no opposition. The motion carries. Okay. Are there any further motions?
Yes, sir. I would like to make a motion to remove David Hensley from any and all committees in which he is a sitting member of.
Okay. There is a motion, excuse me. There is a motion to remove David Hensley from committees. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. Excuse me for the raspiness of my voice. Is there discussion?
With your permission?
Yes, sir.
Okay. As far as I know, this has never happened in Moore County schools. It's unfortunate that this has to happen, and it's unfortunate that Mr. Hensley is not able to be with us today. But I would just like to reiterate that I had made the request for this meeting on the 13th at 9:26 a.m. My response was in regards to Mr. Hensley and how he has continuously addressed and belittled members of this board, Ms. Caldwell, Ms. Davis, and even Mr. Benway have all handled his attacks with dignity and grace. I do not feel that this reflects good leadership. I don't think that this is what our committees need to represent them. And with that, I stand by my motion.
Okay, is there further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, there's no need to move for for cloture. So we'll move immediately to a vote. This is a motion to remove Mr. Hensley from all committee assignments. By way of explanation, this could have been done by the board chair, as the board chair does assign committees and the like. It also can be done by the board in and of itself. The board is apparently choosing to do that in and of itself, which is one alternative. Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, it's unanimous of the people here. That is 6-0. The motion carries. Mr. Hensley is removed from all committees. Are there further motions at all?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I move that we censure David Hensley based on inappropriate behavior, his lack of civility, which is inconsistent with board policies requiring civil behavior and respectful dialogue with fellow board members on matters being considered by the board at all times.
Okay, and this is for actions inside the board, as opposed to any statements that he has made outside of the boardroom. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, knowing that motion, is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. Okay, is there discussion? Seeing no discussion, the motion is to censure Mr. Hensley for his conduct and actions inside the confines of the boardroom and not outside of the boardroom. Yes, sir.
Could Mr. Holmes please repeat the motion that was read earlier, this motion?
Yeah, I move that we censure David Hensley based on the inappropriate behavior and lack of civility inconsistent with board policies requiring civil behavior and respectful dialogue with fellow board members on matters being considered by the board at all times.
Okay. All right. Is there, hearing the motion again, is there further discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll move immediately to a vote. All those in favor of censuring Mr. Hensley, please raise your hand. That is unanimous among the people here. The motion carries. Mr. Hensley stands as censured by the board. Is there any further business to come before the board? Is there anything further that a board member needs to say or wishes to say?
I'd like to say something, please.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want the public to know that this is the hardest thing ever for this board to do. We all take this to heart. This was very, very difficult. But I also want you to know the support we have had is overwhelming.
Okay. Is there further further wish by any member of the board?
If I may,
Yes, sir.
I think this should speak out to everyone to know that we will not tolerate this behavior at all. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, whether which way you look at things. There's always a way to conduct yourself in a civil manner. I mean, I've been guilty of short-circuiting. I'm sure everybody has. But we all have to remember that, you know, we're here for the kids. We're here for the parents. We're here for the teachers. We all want what's best. It's just the roadmap that gets us there it may be a little different, and that's okay too. But the important thing to remember is that we all have to must contain ourselves and how we conduct ourselves with the public. And I'm sorry that it's come to this, but I feel like it was necessary that I did call this special meeting.
Okay. Further comments by any of our board members?
I did just want to say, I think we all here have one goal in mind, and that's just to serve more county schools, and I think we can get back to doing that.
Exactly.
Okay. Further comments by our board members? Okay. I want to thank everyone and the board for being here. This has been extremely difficult for all of our board members. But I do believe that we have to keep our eye on the prize, as we say. And the prize are these wonderful, precious children that we educate, to make sure that they are educated to be good citizens of the United States of America, and to make sure that they learn to read, write, do math, that they are given our great vocational education, that we show respect for our teachers, for our staff, for our counselors, for everyone involved in our schools. And to the public, we thank you for your patience, and we will tell the public that Moore County Schools is the best school system in the state of North Carolina. It will continue to be the best school system in the state of North Carolina. And we want to concentrate on the things that matter and the things that bring us toward greater success in that regard. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, there's a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second by Ms. Bruno. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.